October 2019 marks the 20th anniversary of Cecil Airport and Cecil Commerce Center. Established on the historical Naval Air Station Cecil Field, this airport has a storied history beginning in World War II through the late 1990s. Building on that legacy, Cecil Airport is now a vibrant aerospace development site with 12 tenants and over 4,000 employees. Cecil has the third longest runway in the state of Florida, accommodating general aviation, military aircraft, and a variety of other operations. Here at Cecil, we are looking forward to the future of aerospace by incorporating small, unmanned aerial systems in day-to-day operations. We also operate one of 12 FAA-licensed commercial spaceports in the United States. Working with our partners at Hillwood and the City of Jacksonville, the Cecil Commerce Center has become an economic powerhouse on the west side of Jacksonville. We're excited to celebrate 20 years of expansive growth. Now, let's take a journey back in time with those who were there and learn how it all started.
My name is Scott Morrison, and I was the last executive officer here at Cecil Field in 1999. Now I serve with the Jacksonville Jetport at Cecil Field as the Director of Marketing and the Military Liaison responsible for getting all the military training back in here. So when the BRAC Commission in 1993 came up with Cecil Field on its list that the Navy had provided, we all kind of sat back in dismay of how could the Navy possibly put Cecil Field on this list. And then it was updated again in '95 and they had the hearings, and sure enough, as the gavel fell, Cecil Field was going to be closed in 1999. And it was really utter disbelief for those of us who worked here and knew what this place was all about. And so in 1999, as the last airplanes flew off to the north, to Oceana, we all just stood here shaking our heads.
It was really devastating news because Cecil had always been a part of the community on the west side and such a vital part of the Navy personnel being in our churches and our community in so many ways. It was really tough news to take that they might be leaving. We've depended on the military, and now we're going to depend on private industry to take over and fill those 8,000 plus job openings, and it will just not only give us in Duval County a great opportunity for jobs, but also in the region. Community's reaction to the overall plan was excellent because they felt like they'd been engaged. There were so many town hall meetings, there were so many ways to show them the maps and the sectors that were going to be given for use, and I think they were very pleased that there was going to be so much land that for public use, the trails, and at that time the idea of the equestrian center and the aquatic pool, Olympic-sized aquatic pool for the community was on the table and in the plan.
I started working for Jacksonville Port Authority in 1999, 3 years after I had started with the city, and that transition for myself came because the Jacksport Board of Directors voted to take the aviation assets at Cecil and convert it from military to civilian use. Good news for us is we had a lot of infrastructure. Bad news for us was we had a lot of infrastructure that needed quite a bit of work. The lighting systems were not up to FAA standards. The runways needed some work. So interesting side note, when we inherited Cecil, we inherited more pavement at Cecil Airport than the other 3 airports that Jacksonville Port Authority then maintained, all combined. So far, we've been able to create a little over 1,000 jobs here at Cecil Field. We expect more jobs to come along as we continue the development out here. 1 year into the use of Cecil Field as a civilian airport, our revenues are above our projections, so we really expect Cecil Field to be developed and become a profitable venture quite faster than we had previously expected.
The real reason companies like Cecil is the operating environment that the JAA and the staff have created out here, where they can focus on their business. The neighborhoods around Cecil are totally supportive of what we do because they realize that one of the main goals for Cecil was to become a great economic engine for the city. And it has. We went from about 2,000 jobs in 2009 to over 4,000 jobs today, and that's just on JAA property. The city side has also expanded dramatically. So Cecil is truly that economic engine that we hoped it would be, and the future looks totally bright for future projects to come in, bringing thousands of more employees.
Cecil is a different beast, and I call it a beast because it's a monster. It is capable of doing anything for aviation. It can accommodate any aircraft that is currently in production and operating today globally. And we basically have that here. We're an industrial airport. Any typical day, you have from 172s, which is a small single engine plane, to a C-5 or C-17 landing with a bunch of corporate jets and F-18s and Coast Guard helicopters operating at the airfield. But it is busy out here. We do about 110,000 operations a year.
The Cecil Commerce Center benefits the city in myriad ways, including growing the tax base through large investments in private infrastructure and the addition of thousands of new good-paying jobs in a part of the city that traditionally has not had that much commercial activity. We have come a long way from where we were in 2000 when the city took partial ownership of the Commerce Center. Starting with the completion of the Bridgestone facility in 2008, we now have a handful of large facilities owned by other household names such as GE, Amazon, and FedEx. Wayfair is also completing their 1 million square foot distribution center right now. As of today, we are glad to see that we have surpassed the original goal of replacing the 4,000 jobs lost when the Navy closed Cecil Field.
There are several factors that led us to decide to pursue the development opportunity here at Cecil. I think first and foremost is the scale of the opportunity. Depending upon who's doing the counting, there's anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 acres of developable property. And when you have a canvas that's that large to paint on, you know you've got a pretty good chance of doing something that's going to have a real impact, and that was appealing to us. The labor base in Jacksonville appealed to us. The companies for whom we build buildings need to know that when they occupy that building, they'll be able to staff it with good, strong, dependable labor. And I think the companies that we've brought or helped bring to Cecil in the last few years, GE, Amazon, Wayfair, these are companies who could take their business anywhere, and they're not going to go somewhere unless they believe in the labor pool that's available. And I think the fact that they are all three here in the park says an awful lot of good things about Jacksonville's labor base.
With all of the property we have available at Cecil, we think this is going to be the place to be for any company coming from other parts of the world that want to be involved in aerospace. Florida has it all. We're in the northern part of Florida. We have the best economy, the cost of living, and we have the talented people who want to work in this field. We look forward to seeing you soon at Cecil Airport.